I've chased the Toledo branch close to 20 times dating back to about 2006, several times alone in the past couple of weeks, and it seems to still surprise me. Places and bridges, which until this chapter had evaded me. Let's jump right into the pines, ferns, and timbers, starting at Alder, the next bend on our journey. The tallest trestle on the line can be found just east of Alder, crossing Mary's River, which is as ubiquitous to the east end as Yaquina is to the western slope. As I waited, I noted that since last night's holler, some late summer rain was already helping rust form on the railheads. Today, Alder poses hardly enough distinction from the forest to merit a named location. However, this crossing is west of the trestle that is the main feature associated with Alder. As the silence of the forest is slowly dispatched by the approaching train, we have time to see from the profile that the grade is about to begin its steepest drop since cresting the summit 7 miles ago. The ruling grade east of summit is 1.4%. A refreshing and encouraging sight came 5 cars back on this train, loaded center beams from the Silet's reload outside of Toledo, and the first lumber load seen in a year. The reload is located just east of town, at the site of an old abandoned lumber mill, which has been reduced to little more than pavement next to the spur. At 21 cars, with several empty boxcars on the rear, this was the smallest train I've found out of Toledo in some time. Still, it was more than enough to knock the rust off. Another unique feature that seems more commonly found on this branch over others is the use of steel ties, which are SP holdovers and easily spotted with the clips, same as those used on concrete ties. Emerging from the forest, we found Harris, a tiny community with enormous charm, embodied in its several homesteads, winery, and covered bridge dating from 1929, taking Harris Road across Mary's River. This is, of course, one of two beautiful covered bridges by the tracks, the other one at Chitwood. Engine 2152, built for the Baltimore and Ohio, recently received the G&W paint scheme. Its previous bright blue and white car body got it dubbed the Smurf by fans. Its insides remain the same, though, as an EMD GP38M. Some crews from years ago fondly recall friendly waves from the nearby residents on the daily passage of the train. Before the days of cell phones, one trackside residents even permitted the use of their phone to speak with the dispatcher when an engine radio failed. With the passage of time and the eventual loss of an older generation, these community ties have been lost to the simpler days. This nicely cut grass field doubles as event overflow parking for the attractive Harris Bridge Vineyard. Leading up to Wren, the grade levels off and begins climbing a small hill. Back in Southern Pacific days, Wren, or Wrens as the SP timetable names it, was the site of 3G Lumber Mill and remained a heavy shipper until the 80s. With the mill gone, the spurs went derelict until now, as we are looking at new ties, rail, and ballast on this spur, which could indicate a resurrection of car loading here from Wren Hill Lumber, which sits on top of the hill close by, and could be looking toward rail to ship their boards. Wren Hill Lumber is small, but a new mill, LLC, since July 2021. And it would be exciting to see lumber once again loaded at Wren, and you can be sure I'll be keeping my eye out for this in the future. Transitional fish plates give an interesting look at how the rails connect the spur's heavier rail to the small rail found on the short siding already in place. The mainline hill at Wren is evident as the train crests at the crossing. GP40 P-2 3002, built for Norfolk and Western and received from the Norfolk Southern, is the slug mother to the 102, which is this cabless slug unit we see. It also came from the Norfolk Southern and draws its power from its slug mother. The benefit of its use is adding a little bit of power to the consist without consuming any fuel, though with the cruise, it's under debate how much help it actually provides. The slug is an RP-E4D. The 2317 on the rear of the locomotive consist was the highest cab number in a series of 17 engines acquired from the Santa Fe in 1993, establishing the backbone of the new Willamette and Pacific Railroad's locomotive fleet. All GP 39-2s, their cab numbers ranged from 2301 to 2317. The first 50-foot high cube boxcars were produced by Gunderson in Portland in the late 60s. The paper industry was of special consideration in the design of these cars, which first went to the Southern Pacific, Cotton Belt, and the Rio Grande, of course landing them in service on many of Oregon's branch lines. By the 90s, the only new boxcars being produced were high cubic capacity cars like these. This week I was very pleasantly surprised to find a steel-through truss bridge between Wren and Flynn at a quiet corner of the line at the end of a residential road. The bridge date is 1899. What a rare find. It instantly became one of my favorite places on the branch. GP 38-2, 3549 found itself on the point of trains in late August to early September. Its clean, out-of-the-box look is due to the fact that it is one of 7 to be delivered within the year. By the following day, Santa Fe Patch 2308 would be leading the consist. The timber piers have been replaced with steel ones, making me wonder how many more years the 124-year-old through truss bridge will still carry trains across Mary's River before it too gets replaced with something newer. Lately, it would seem that it is becoming rare to see wood chip cars on the patch. I hope it is a trend that reverses. However, I have also noticed a collection of stored GPWX chip cars at Diamond Lake, Oregon on the Union Pacific. It would be nice to see those return to service soon. At least most trains I see these days, including this one, hover around 30 loaded boxcars. At Flynn, a rare Corvallis local move is headed west of Philomath with 6 gondolas of welded rail to be laid, working with a maintenance of way crew. The train is currently passing Patrick Lumber Mill, which currently does not ship by rail, though a short spur to the west does exist. Enter 4 Planer Mill in Philomath is a productive shipper for Portland and Western, seeing multiple switches per week by the Corvallis switcher job, which runs remote controlled by a single-man crew. The spur for the mill also crosses Highway 20. On this beautiful September day, there's 4 cars to spot and 2 to pull. Very soon I will have a chapter covering the Corvallis local and its interesting operations, which dovetail into the operations of several other Portland and Western trains. Because of the maintenance of way and 4Bs in effect on the Toledo branch this day, which we saw the rail train moving towards earlier, the Toledo patch ran out of hours of service. The 12-hour limit will be exhausted, so here between Philomath and Corvallis near Larson, the crew will be relieved by the Albany switcher, who will finish the train's journey to Albany. The railroad term for this is dog catching a train, when a crew has to finish another's work due to them dying on the law. With the patch now patched, it moves towards the Oregon State University campus, crossing Southwest 53rd Street. With the final leg of the trip ahead, it's time to bid the train farewell for this chapter. Thank you for watching, and happy railroading to all.